Start off. What did Andrews do to Hunter Dekkers' body?
Well, he's had a great impact on Hunter. Hunter has trimmed himself down a little bit. Never was, in my opinion, was never out of shape. Never really looked bad, but he looks like a different guy right now. And you could go up and down the roster and talk about the impact of the strength and conditioning staff on the team. And he's just one that you can single out. But it's exciting to see, the difference in the body right now.
I was talking to Hunter at media day, and he said actually he thought he might have been a little pudgy last year.
Yeah,
It got a little away from him.
Yeah, his weight was a little higher than it is right now. Didn't notice it too much in his mobility and his play on the field, but he has a pretty close eye, on his nutrition and what the weight is and all those things. So he does pay attention to it very, he's knowledgeable of where he sits, and he doesn't want to ever get to the point where it ever becomes anything, but he's in great shape right now.
He said he was right around 250.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's thick, and he got up a little bit, but he's doing good right now.
We talked to Matt about Brock a couple weeks ago. He talked a lot about Brock trusting that he doesn't have to do everything on the field. What's your message to Brock along those lines?
Yeah, I think everybody from Coach Campbell to Coach Manning to myself has been, hey, you can't make every play. You got to make the right play every play, and it's not always going to be that way. It'd be great if you were a quarterback and never threw a pick, never made a mistake, but that's going to happen, and he's learned from those mistakes. And the thing that you can say about Brock, he's been in some really tough, mentally challenging times. In a game, the week after a game, and he's always responded. And he's worked hard to figure out, the things that he needs to improve on to make a better decision, in a couple of those situations. But, that guy's incredible. He comes in every single day with the same mindset, and it's been that way for 4 years. And that's rare, for a guy to come in every single day, not take a day off ever. And he's the same competitor every single day. He's getting better every day, still getting better.
When it comes to that decision making and maybe not going way out far on the risk curve, is that ebbed and flowed for him within a career, within seasons, of when he's really good at that and when it maybe recedes a little bit?
It's I don't know if there's been a pattern, or anything like that. It's one of those things where when you're really confident and you're playing at a high level, there are times where you feel like you can take more risks, and he's played really good football, in his career here. He's accounted for, I think, close to 80 touchdowns. So he's been really productive, and he has a lot of confidence in himself, and I'm not going to pull that back on him. I'd rather him be really confident and try to make plays, and, hey, here's a teachable moment where, hey, this isn't the time to take the shot or force the ball. Obviously, we can't force a ball at any point in time, but I think it's part of the position. It's part of the territory. You got to live and learn, and there's going to be good, there's going to be bad, and he's been a champ just throughout his career working with that, learning.
Does he have to change his game?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think he's awesome. Yeah, I think he's awesome. He gives us the ability to do whatever we want on offense. We can run him. We don't run him too much till we feel like we need to or there's something there. But he's run for 18 touchdowns, I think, in his career. So no, we love him. I wish he could just stay here and keep on playing. I'd love to coach him for the rest of my career. So I think the world of him.
How does he? Knock on wood. How does he? He's not been hurt. Significantly enough to miss a whole lot of play.
There's that's a big thing. I think that Coach Andrews has had a big impact on since he's been here. He's as healthy as he's been really since he was a freshman. And when you play like he does, you're going to get nicked up. And it took some trying to run over some guys, against Oklahoma State early on in his career to realize it's not like high school anymore. But he's played in a lot of games, and you wouldn't know that he's banged up. He's extremely tough. You can't get that guy to miss anything. I mean, I think it was maybe his sophomore year. I mean, he took an elbow in the nose on a speed sweep, broke his nose in a walkthrough, and is out there 15 minutes later with a plug up his nose. So he's not gonna. You're gonna have to pull him off the field. He's a tough dude. But I think there's a. You can say a lot about the strength and conditioning staff, the training staff. Brock has worked really hard to change his body to the best of his ability, and it's nice to see him healthy, running around out there doing what he does best.
When did that broken nose happen?
Training camp?
This year?
No, a couple years ago.
Are there underappreciated elements of his game? Because we've been asking you about him for, it's always what's the next step for Brock Purdy and all that. Are there things that maybe from the outside perspective aren't as noticeable that you've seen great growth in, or is a huge element to his success?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, he's won a lot of football games, and as a quarterback, some of the games are going to be awesome, and we end up winning the game. You're going to play bad sometimes. You still got to win the game. And I think there's been a handful of times in 3 years that we've lost a game and then lost the next week. So I think, looking at that position in this program and us wanting to be the foundation of this program, he makes incredible plays. But I think his competitiveness and his will to win and inspire people on the field is outstanding. And that's one thing that, I don't read the newspaper every day about Brock, but I think that's one thing that you definitely could talk about. The mark of a quarterback, at the end of the day, you got to win games. And he's beat everybody in this league since he's been playing. And, I think winning games, that's as important as anything stat-wise that you could talk about.
How emblematic of that quality is the Baylor game last year, where he threw the 3 picks. I think Coach Campbell joked, hey, probably not going to do that again. He comes back, I think, in the second half, throws 3 touchdown passes, and you win the game. Yeah,
I mean, that's a great example. I mean, he's Coach Manning has been using a term, in fall camp, competitive endurance. And when you're challenged physically, mentally, emotionally, there's a lot of opportunity to be challenged at this position, in every single play. And the second half that he had in the Baylor game, and then to take that and roll with it for, I think it was the next 5 games or whatever that was. I mean, that shows you, man, the guy is extremely, extremely tough, and he's accountable. And he's, his teammates know he's going to bounce back. And man, I remember being on the phone with him and being in disbelief, up in the box, as that was happening. Like, you got to be kidding me. You got a tip ball, you got a contested ball, and you got a forced ball, and they all went, the other way. And we turned it around, It wasn't just him, but I think the belief that he came out there, we hit Chuck early on in the third quarter, and there it goes, and we were rolling, for a long time after that little stretch. And I think, man, just the ability to instill that belief, in your team, it's huge, and it showed right there in a really tough stretch.
What's the dynamic for an offense and maybe even a football team to have a 4-year starter at quarterback? Not only a 4-year starter, but if you want to look at the record books, a guy who's got a pretty good argument as the best quarterback to ever play here.
Yeah, I mean, I think hopefully it doesn't make the team get complacent, but hopefully there's a lot of confidence, from the team, just in the fact that, hey, here's a guy that's been in every situation in the last 3 years, and he's still here, and he's still really good, and he's getting better every single day. So I think, I would think the dynamic would be a lot of confidence, from our defense and our offense that, he's going to be able to get out there and lead and do a really good job.
For Aiden Bauman, it had to be tough last year. He gets here in January, gets beat out by a guy that gets here in the summer. What were your conversations with him like to kind of keep him plugging along? Because, I mean, one season you guys played how many quarterbacks? You got to be ready.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Aiden, he came in, and, man, he had a tough stretch in fall camp, through COVID, missed a lot of time there. And that was hard for him. When you're not getting live reps, it's you can't play quarterback without being prepared under the gun and getting live reps. So he missed a lot of that. Hunter proved himself in training camp and ended up being the backup. But, you know, the conversation with Aiden has been the same as any quarterback that we would have in the program. It's about taking where you are right now, figuring out how to set goals about what we need to do to get your game a little bit better. And at the end of the day, it's the progression of, man, what you're trying to do, Aiden, is become the best Aiden that you can be. And that's all that we would ever ask him. And he's been willing to work, you know, and he's out there competing every single day. And, you know, the competition, you know, after the first two guys right now is on, and they're getting after it. So, you know, I'm pleased with his work ethic and his ability to, you know, not be the main guy and to come to work every single day.
Now, after him, is Blake getting some work there, or is it mainly the Ankeny kid you got?
Yeah, we got Hayes and we got Blake, and we have a young true freshman from Iowa City, Ashton Cook, that's threw him in there a little bit and early on to kind of see, you know, what kind of response that we would get, and he responded really well. So he's done a nice job so far of handling all the things that he's seen from our scheme and the defense. And he's a pup, but he's shown some flashes. So yeah, we're excited about that room right now from top to bottom.
Brock was very grateful to have a guy like Kyle Kemp around when he was a young player. How much has Brock embraced being that guy now for Hunter Dekkers and the young quarterbacks? Yeah,
you know, that's a, you know, for Brock, that I'm not surprised to hear Brock, you know, say that. He's a selfless individual, so he understands what Kyle was for him, and he understands now that he's already been through a year of it, you know, with the two young guys. And Brock and Hunter hit it off early, and when you got a room full of guys that love football and love coming to work, that dynamic is really fun to work with for me, and it's fun to see them communicating in the meeting room, watching video when we're not in there. They want to work at it, and I think Brock understands, like, there's going to be a lot of times where I'm not around, Kyle's not around, and now he is the coach on the field. And I think his ability to step in and coach all those young quarterbacks, especially Hunter right now. Hunter's been the next guy that's been in the game and gotten real live reps. That's been huge for him. And I think Brock is also realizing that his knowledge has grown in the offense where, you know, hey, he can help a tight end out on an alignment here or a route here or assignment here. And that's part of his growth. It's been really fun to watch. Is he's learned a whole lot of football in 4 years, and he's still learning, and he's just the confidence that he's gaining in his own ability to handle all those situations is really fun to watch. And then to be able to see him hand down some help to the other guys, that's, you know, that's what you want, you know, a true coach on the field.